Welcome back, and my friend Mr. Schnell Welder's been busy. Yes, we have a modified chassis. World's fastest bumper car update. Here it is, folks. Can anyone spot the schoolboy error? Well, yes, he put that one on the wrong way around. So all the holes are in the wrong places. Time to get this back in here. We have assistance, and I fully expect some finagling. As expected, a little bit of a performance, but it's in. We had to prise out the front end a little bit to get it all to square up with the C-frame. Further inspection. The rear engine mount bar cut to size. Can't cut the sleeves yet, the strengthening sleeves, because obviously, well, what I want is that to actually be right on the outside of the chassis, the engine cradle there, and then this obviously needs to be as snug as possible to the engine block itself, and we won't know what that distance is until we get the engine in place. And what I mean by that is that I want that tube to sit, we're looking at the cross section of the steel chassis now. I want that tube to sit exactly flush with that edge, whilst the other end of it obviously be wedged up against the engine block, to give it maximum rigidity. It's, you know, it's going to be a bit hit and miss. Obviously, this side of it will be supported nicely, but it'd be nice if the other end was also supported. And I know, it's been a while since the last update. I haven't been totally idle. I've been waiting for space in the garage. I did order these new low-level air filters, so they look as though they're going to work, as long as there's enough space in between. I think there is. They're kind of cool, and at just under 2 inches, a saving of at least 1.5 inches on your average one. That's better. Rearranging things a little in order to get that out, and we all know what that means. After a lot of shilly-shallying, we're not dilly-dallying anymore, and we're going to get on with it. Finally got it into some kind of position where we can get the engine crane, get the motor, drop it in, see what's what. Right, let's get this all hooked up and on the hoist. Obligatory wolf hair. there she is, situated at the front. However, the back is a long way down. If you remember, these boys are going to go through this. So we've got to come up about 6 inches on the back. Don't know how I can do that. And this is where our steel rod and sheath come in handy, hopefully. Okay. So there we are, riding on our steel bar at the back. Obviously a little higher than it's going to end up, because it's going to come through the frame, roughly where that mark is, but a little bit ahead of it. And at the front, we're almost sitting on the mounts there. So that's about the size of it. So, remind me again what we were doing? Well, I've got to check. Well, obviously, ultimately, ground clearance, but that's going to be a little tricky because this is riding 4 inches higher than it was on those, which is already 1.5 inches higher than I think it's supposed to ride. So I have to work all that out. And then this, yes, the socket, the sprocket. Yes, there it is there. And what we've got to work out is whether it's inside that chassis roller. Pretty sure it is. And if not, we've got plenty of room to move the motor over to the left, which we need to work out whether we're going to have to do before we work out the size of the sleeves that are going to fit over that rod to strengthen it somewhat. Here's our makeshift motorcycle chain coming off the top of the sprocket, slightly kinked, giving us enough room at the back not to chafe on the chassis. So I would say the motor needs to go to the right just a tad. Yes, Nat's cock, but one of the large American Nats. So basically, I think that right-hand engine mount needs to sit on that corner there. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Then we can measure everything up a bit, like so, and like so, and like so. Alrighty, at that point, our sheath that goes over our steel rod needs to be 9.5 inches. This side, and 6 1/8 this side. Right, that's those marked up. Suppose we better mark these up too. We have progress. Cheers. Right, next up, I think, cutting those rods, these strengthening tubes, marking up the frame where we're going to put the front engine mounts, and actually locking it in place like it's going to be. Then we'll measure the ground clearance and all that kind of stuff, I think. I even fit the pipes to make sure they fit. Wheels? What wheels? Oh yeah, well, we'll come to them later. Yes. And the other critical measurement was to the bodywork, which I think we had 18 inches. Wow, look at that. Even with our new flat air filters, we should be able to fit everything in. That's sweet. So I've marked everything up for drilling and cutting and everything else. I like to use paint as it just leaves a nice gap, exactly the right place. Even the holes. Sometimes I colour code it for left and right, and then people mess it up by putting things in back to front. Never mind. Well, I think we'll save that for next time, so wish me luck. Thanks for tuning in again. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe down here somewhere. And of course, encourage others to watch my lunacy.